Hi, it's Keith Peterson again from the Erdely T. Peterson Company in Westfield, New Jersey. We'd like to show you today a state-of-the-art air purifier. The allergy issues internationally really are enormous. A lot of this is because the amount of time spent indoors is considerably more typically than in years past what is spent outdoors. We've sealed up our environments for reasons of heat and cold, and the result is we're trapped indoors with all these allergens. They say that in a cubic inch of air is something like 60,000 microscopic particles. The very act of walking through a room stirs up allergens and brings them into the air. They say even the sunlight coming through a window and hitting the carpet fibers causes a heat change. The fibers move slightly, allergens are put into the air. The smallest of allergens are tiny enough that they will remain airborne almost indefinitely. A small allergen can be several days at any rate. This product line here represents a technology that we've been providing for over 20 years. The industry uses several types of air purification products. One of the most prevalent methods to attempt to clean the air is with a filter of some design. Heating and ventilating systems are used for filtration. The concept being the air coming into the ventilating system is returning back to the blower, and there's a filter there. If the filter is exchanged for a higher grade filter, then air purification can take place. While this is true, the limitation is in the air being brought back through the return, back to that filter in an indoor environment. Obviously, we have two returns here for this facility. Obviously, it's the air closest to the return that actually gets, if you will, vacuumed into the return. Then there are standalone air purifiers. The same issue stays in place, that the ability of one of these units to draw air from the entire perimeter of the room is almost non-existent. So the result is this type of technology has such limitations that while anything that's done to purify the air is helpful, the limitations are so extreme that the ability to really get that air good and clean is minimized. With this technology, none of this is in place. This is not a filter. It's not attempting to draw the air back to itself and cleanse it in some fashion. It's making fresh air conditions inside the same way nature makes it fresh and clean outside. Everybody's experienced how fresh and clean it is after a thunderstorm or a rainstorm. If you go to the beach, typically with the action of the wind and the waves, the air has a quality and a cleanliness to it that is pronounced. So this unit will electronically replicate indoors what takes place outdoors, and it's accomplishing two things. Ionization is a result of the activity of the sun shining outside. It's an activity of the wind and the waves at the shore. It's the activity that results from a thunderstorm, from the lightning strikes. And what happens is the ionization of the air causes particles in the air, assuming positive and negative charges, to clump together, and gravity pulls them from the air. So I use the expression the air is being swept. The second process that takes place is oxidation. And I've mentioned thunderstorms several times. Everybody's gone out after a thunderstorm and experienced the profoundly fresh, clean atmosphere that is a result. So this unit here produces natural oxidizers the same way that nature does outside. The advantage to the oxidizers is that the organic contaminants are oxidized. They're being reduced and eliminated indoors. The oxidizing technology on this is created inside the unit. There's two types of oxidizing technologies. The fan internally moves those oxidizers into the atmosphere. Natural convection air currents in a house or an office will move these oxidizers around internally in this environment. When they encounter an organic contaminant, the contaminant is oxidized, it's removed. So oxidation takes place with dust mite allergens, pollens, molds, spores, bacteria, chemical gases, smoke, cigarette smoke, cigar smoke, and so forth. The ionization is causing these myriad of particles that can float indefinitely in the air to be ionized, to come together, and to fall out of the air. It's not unusual for someone to start using one of these units and call us in 4 or 5 days if they misunderstand the technology and say to us, I'm finding dust everywhere on horizontal surfaces beyond what I normally see. And this is a transitional period where these tiny particles, these millions of tiny particles, are being swept together and falling out. We can put this into an indoor environment on a Saturday, and on a Monday, the owner can come home the day after work, walk into the house, and experience what is a profoundly fresh, clean environment. We have situations, for example, with new homes. I have a nephew who just bought a new house. He was waking up routinely after moving in with sore throats and mucus activity in his membranes. And one of these air purifiers was put into his environment. He said the next morning he woke up, he was largely free of these symptoms because the allergens, whatever was affecting him in the house, chemicals, whatever they were being oxidized and broken down by this process. I wouldn't personally myself live in an indoor environment without cleansing the air. We vacuum the rugs, we wash dishes, we do things to make our environment healthy. The air is filled with pollutants. The dust mite allergens are in the carpet, they're in the upholstery, they're in the air. The countertop has bacteria. This process works 24/7 to reduce these allergens. Now, we should mention air purification is vital in that you must deal with the particulate that's in the air. And of course, as we've said, this will help with allergens that are in the carpet and the upholstery. The oxidizers will sink in, if you will, oxidize in those areas. But it's also very important to be aware that this is in conjunction to a quality vacuum. Most vacuum cleaners are not airtight, and during the operation of the machine, the small particles are coming out of the vacuum as fast as they're going in. Most vacuums are made in China today, and the quality is lacking considerably. So a well-designed vacuum cleaner is an adjunct to this unit here in that you're then able to remove particles in a controlled way from the carpet, the upholstery, the drapes, the rugs, the floor, whatever you have, and retain the particles in the machine. It makes no sense to use the vacuum with an air purifier running if the vacuum is hoisting particles in the millions back into the air. You're working against yourself. And this uses roughly the same electricity as a light bulb. It's a few cents a day. It runs 24/7. Every 30 days there will be a message across the panel to do maintenance. There's a power plate inside that gets removed and scrubbed. There's a lint screen on the back. Its function is to keep the inside of the machine clean. The lint screen gets removed, rinsed or vacuumed. Everything gets reassembled. It takes a few minutes. You're back in business. This is one of the best products. We're 60 years in business this year. This is one of the best products we carry. If you go to our website and go to the testimonial section, you will see scads of testimonials from people using these units to help with the allergy problems in their indoor environment. So when this unit is put into an environment, this is our most popular model. This will handle up to 3,000 square feet. It can be tuned down, if you will, to about 250 square feet. So it could be used anywhere from a large bedroom all the way up to a house. Typically, it will handle both floors of a standard 2-story house. There's an ability to adjust this to the environment internally. It's adjusted through the square footage. Right now, this is set on 3,000 square feet. We can raise that down, lower that, and if it's lower, we can raise it up. The use of this is such that we want it positioned on top of something in a central location. So in a typical house, say on top of an entertainment center in a living room, or a china closet in a dining room, a cabinet in an entrance hallway, this positions it centrally. The machine is adjusted for a day or two until that fresh, clean atmosphere is produced inside, and then it's left. This is a smaller model. And this model here is used then for simply smaller environments. My daughter went away to college a year ago. Her dorm was not the most wonderful dorm in the world, so we put one of these into her dorm. You walk into that dorm room, it's fresh and clean smelling. Whatever allergens there are being met by this unit. So in summation, this is a Model 3000. The smaller unit is a 1500. These equate to the square footage areas that these machines will handle. And we would love to answer any questions you have on this. You can call us at the E.T. Peterson Company, 908-232-5723. Thank you.